obviously it touches on lots of other issues that are relevant to where we're at the moment in the world, other than a pandemic. We've got mental illness in the book. We've got cyber terrorism and terrorism more generally, environmental degradation. But most of your works are really about seeing the beauty in the world. So how hard is it to write about the dark things and the negative impacts of, you know, these communication tools that we're using right now? And yeah, it's obviously such a departure from what you normally do. How hard is it to go down that, into that path?
That's a really interesting question, because I think as a person, I'm quite a pessimistic person, and I have a really dark view of the internet, and I really feel, even in my own life, seeing how much social media how addictive I find Instagram, for example.
Yes.
I am a person who, I work in publishing, I'm a publisher, I write books, I read books, and yet I can't detach from that side of me that pulls me back to my phone in the time I would be reading. And if I feel that, and I know how important and beautiful books are in the world, what hope does a person have who doesn't have a connection to reading or literature or the arts or culture or being out in nature?
Yeah.
I just feel like the pull of it, it's been so engineered to be addictive, and that to me is so scary. And I really see that as a looming shadow that I feel over my own life all the time. So it wasn't actually that difficult to write the dark parts of this, because I more wrote it to convince myself that there could be a better end, that maybe it'll all blow up and it might come around in a full circle. Yeah. So I think I actually wrote it in a way as an exercise to think, and that's how it started. That's why all these things that have come true are so weird, because I started in 2012 and I thought, okay, if you really think the internet is a really dark, horrible place, what's the worst possible thing you could imagine happening? And I thought, okay, it would be someone, and I won't say who, but in the book there's a character who is killed live on the internet. And 3 weeks after I wrote that, the first ISIS online live killing happened. So I wrote that beforehand, thinking, where is the wackiest place I could take this? What is the most dark, disturbing thing that could happen? Write about it, and then write what happens next. And over time, a lot of these things that I wrote about, even to the point where people are blaming COVID on 5G, that's a really, that's a synergistic kind of connection that's mirrored in my book. All these things have started to come true. So I think I wrote it as kind of hopefully a cathartic exercise, but as time's gone on, so many of these things have come to fruition that I think, well, what actually is the end? Can you ever come back from this? Like, can you cure the partisan nature of the world now? Is it so divided? Or is there a solution that isn't what happens in my book, which is the whole thing? It gets to the point where people, the internet kind of people, for whatever reason, which I can't spoil, they stop using it and stop engaging with it. And is that where we're headed? I don't actually know.